Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Welcome to The Takeout. We have said here before, and we will say it again. When it comes to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and those who abetted them, we will remain focused on the victims, not the politics. There is a political angle, of course, and it will play out in full and possibly furious view inside the House of Representatives next week. That's when House Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will vote on a discharge petition to seek the release of the full Epstein files. That House vote would be one part of the legislative process. Many would have to follow, including, if it came to it, President Trump signing that legislation. The prospect of that signature seems, at this moment, dim. But Epstein's victims have been at this quest of transparency and accountability for a very long time. They do not relish this agonizing quest, but appear undeterred in it. In the House, Republicans and Democrats on the Oversight Committee are on different tracks in terms of evidence they are pursuing and when they release it. Yesterday, Democrats released documents and emails, and their meaning already the subject of intense debate. We will ask one of the foremost journalists in all Epstein matters, as well as an Epstein victim, about this particular moment in the Epstein saga. For its importance and potential political power appear only to be growing, not because the victims of Jeffrey Epstein are political, but because, possibly for the first time, their simple, persistent calls for visibility, clarity, and justice have, for whatever set of reasons, become salient, unsilenceable. We begin with Weijia Jiang at the White House. Weijia, the White House appears in its statements to be at sort of a battle station's point of view on this, combative and locked in. What is it today that the White House is saying?
Major, the White House would prefer not to be saying anything about this. This is a story that the president and his team wants to go away. In fact, it's very telling that last night on live television in the Oval Office, President Trump signed that funding bill into law to formally reopen the government. And it's one of the rare times he decided not to take a single question from reporters while inside that room doing exactly what he did. And so that squares with what we have seen from other administration officials, too, which you're right, they will certainly be the first to defend and the first to call out Democrats who they say are simply trying to paint a false narrative of the president. But again, this is not something that they are actively trying to address because, again, they would rather talk about just about anything except Jeffrey Epstein.
Weijia, I remember covering the first Trump administration, and there were tangles then with Michael Wolff, an author who wrote a book about the Trump administration then. Michael Wolff is back in this conversation now, and the White House has plenty to say, not very much of it complimentary, about Michael Wolff.
Right. This is a longtime reporter who has written extensively, even an entire book about Donald Trump, President Trump. And he is in these emails, which is why he is also at the center of many of these attacks from White House officials. In fact, just yesterday, he was on a podcast describing the relationship that he found in his reporting between Epstein and President Trump, and essentially said, look, this wasn't just two guys who happened to know each other, who ran in the same circles. These were two guys who spent a lot of time together, who knew a lot about each other. And today, the director of White House communications, Stephen Chung, who is often quite colorful in his statements, issued one about Wolff to say that he is a lying sack of expletive and has been proven to be a fraud. He goes on to say that Wolff routinely fabricates stories and called him sick and warped, and said he has a case of Trump derangement syndrome, Major. So, this is not particularly new for Stephen Chung, but it is very telling that he is going directly after Michael Wolff, who, again, just spoke out about the emails yesterday.
Getting us started tonight on the North Lawn of the White House. Weijia Jiang, thank you so very much.